So now we've arrived at the Citizen Kane of Spider-Man movies, or so people say. Spider-Man 2.1. That's the one I have, I'm sorry. Now while the point of this video is to bring up the crummy aspects of this movie and kind of laugh at it, I gotta admit that it's 100% undeniable that this is the best movie out of the trilogy. It's way funnier than the first one, it has some good emotional moments, and it's pretty exciting to watch. But it still has dumb shit. So, let's start off with another Peter Parker narration.
Who am I? I'm Spider-Man, given a job to do.
Bleh. Now I would run through...
Unbelievable. This dude is unbelievable.
This is unbelievable.
You're poisoning the well of just going, oh, he said something in narration. Bleh.
Not explaining why it's bad either. Just saying it, giving a reaction, and moving on. So people in the audience can go, yeah, without any thought, without any explanation. Because if you explain why it's bad, that's less of an opportunity for people to think themselves and then formulate their own thoughts about it. And then in their mind, they're going to be correct because it's their own thoughts. If you tell them your opinion, it's a less likely chance that they agree with it. But their own opinion, yes, they will. If they go, wow, that line wasn't really good, it's already done. Without you doing a single thing but a Dumb and Dumber reaction.
This movie scene by scene like I did for the last movie, but this
you
movie's
didn't do scene... Do you think you did scene by scene with the last movie?
Hey, this happened, and we're halfway done, y'all.
Run through this movie scene by scene like I did for the last movie, but this movie's kind of hard to do that for, and I'd also be here for a really long time. I'm trying to go to bed. This movie follows a little bit of a formula, but not the same one.
Why is this movie hard to go scene by scene with? I hate that people who want to get into critiques will look at the most popular people, including this guy, and they will inevitably just try to emulate him.
Yes, and emulate while throwing their own spin on it. And the problem with that is you get a lot of people just going dynamic and nuance and all this stuff without explanation. You use the words, the buzzwords, in service of your script, as opposed to explaining what you mean by the scene or whatever you're trying to critique or praise. It's so ridiculous.
It's insane that anybody would consider this to be good. Him just even opening up, going, it's way more funny, it's way more exciting, it has more emotional moments. Not explaining anything, just showing stuff in the background.
Just showing an emotional moment, just showing a funny moment.
I hate that this exists for people to widely view, because this influences people. And if this is the catalyst for people propagating this type of critique, it is bad. It is really, really bad.
Movie. In this movie, everything revolves around Peter Parker being shit on. And I know shitting on him is kind of half of the whole thing about being Spider-Man, but that's exactly my point. It should be half of the story. Rewatching this movie is really frustrating because everybody is an asshole. Mary Jane is an asshole.
How?
Aunt
In
May
what
is...
way?
How?
As she's going, please just say that you like me. Please.
She put her feelings out there at the end of the last movie. He said, I'll always be your friend. She knows he's lying, and he does feel something, and she keeps trying to push him, and eventually she gives up and just goes, all right, I'll just go with somebody else.
I'm seeing somebody, and
I'll marry them. And then Peter's like, no, I'm different now. And she goes, it's too late. And then she realizes, no, it's not too late.
Mary Jane is an asshole. Aunt May is rude as fuck. Harry is the biggest piece of shit ever. This movie is just unrelentingly mean. The first thing Harry says to Peter in this movie is, hey, your friend Spider-Man killed my dad, and I fucking hate you. And they start...
He does not say, I hate you. He says, he taking pictures of Spider-Man.
And Peter's like, let's not do this again. They've had this conversation before. This is a constant thing. This is showing, it's showing that Harry is obsessed with this. When the Ock thing happened, he goes, I'm in ruined. I got nothing except Spider-Man.
Talking about other stuff. And then he's like, no, but seriously, I really hate Spider-Man and I hate you, and this is why Uncle Ben died. Every chance Harry gets, he talks about how Spider-Man killed his dad. Even when Spider-Man saves his life in the beginning of the movie, he doesn't even skip a beat. He's just like,
this doesn't change anything.
God damn, dude, you are really petty. It also doesn't help that James...
Obsessed.
He's obsessed. He's upset that he killed his father before he could reconcile with him.
And make him proud and show him that he was worth something.
It's not just
because he's afraid of his father just seeing him as some screw up kid, and then he dies. You took my father from me. The only person I wanted to impress and show. Because even when he does the Oscorp thing, it's just like, I'm going to do it in ways my father never could have. I'm going to take it to heights he never could have.
Bigger and better.
And the dude behind him just like, this is on a level your father couldn't even dream of. And he puts his hand on his hand and goes, thank you.
Also doesn't help that James Franco's acting is kind of shitty in this movie.
I'm ruined.
Yeah, I didn't like that line.
Yeah.
I have nothing left except Spider-Man.
And then we have Aunt May.
And again, just showing one line, going all of his acting is bad because of this one line. And then we have Aunt May doing what?
The shit out of Peter Parker in every scene that he's in. She abuses random people.
Go back. Could you go back to what he said there? We caught him in the middle of his line.
Spider-Man.
And then we have Aunt May, who nags the shit out of Peter Parker in every scene that he's in. She abuses...
Pause. So you're using that birthday scene as nagging him. As Peter sees a foreclosure sign, as she's clearly hard up for money, she gives him every penny that she has left. And Peter goes no, and she begs him to take it.
And don't you dare leave it here.
Because it's his birthday, she can't give him much. But what she can give, she wants to give. Just to make Peter a little bit more happy. Take a little bit of load off for Peter. How is this nagging? Why would you show that scene? What was nagging about when they were packing up? And they go, after he goes, it was my fault that Uncle Ben died.
Pish posh.
I pish posh his water over the bridge or under the water or wherever you want to put it. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't want to worry you about this. I got the little neighbor kid, gave him $5.
But you were very brave in telling me.
Random people.
Ow!
And in the most egregious...
Abuses random people. Do you not understand the context of that scene? May goes, I've been teaching piano on the side because they're trying to get a second mortgage on the house to save Ben Parker's house that he built with his own 2 hands. Peter Parker goes, oh, you have? And she goes to kick him and she kicks somebody else by mistake. That's abusing. That is so disingenuous. Just show. Oh my goodness. This is slimy. This is grime. This is selective editing out this world.
Yeah, he's doing the trilogy dirt.
Wow.
Like big
Who's
dirt.
thumbing this up going, yeah, she did abuse that guy.
I think it's people whose ego is attached to being contrarian. So, people love the first 3 movies, but look at all the problems, so thumbs up. As opposed, because, I love the Homecoming, and y'all shitting on this with the Sam Raimi stuff, but look at the Sam Raimi stuff. It's gross.
And that's what he got?
Yep.
She abuses people, showing one person getting kicked? And that was it for the entirety of the movie?
And it was an accident that she kicked him.
And then actively saving Peter's life by hitting Doc Ock with an umbrella. Old lady doing all she can to save a person that she actively did not like 5 minutes ago. Oh my goodness, this Aunt May slander, I never thought we'd see today.
Yeah, she's tremendous. I don't know.
She's such a nice little old lady. What are you doing?
This instance of mischaracterization, she makes Peter feel more guilty for Uncle Ben's death. At a crucial point in the movie, Peter is like, hey, Aunt May, it's been eating me up inside. I basically caused Uncle Ben's death. I didn't know how to tell you, and I'm so sorry. All I want is forgiveness. And she's basically like, wow, you're a piece of shit.
She can't process. She just told him. He just told her that he is the reason her husband of some 40 years is dead, and she needs time to process that.
After all this time, we had just seen them at the funeral. I mean, at the grave, and she was blaming herself. She said, "This is my fault."
He said, "Stop punishing yourself," and she's like, it's my fault. So, it is what it is.
And now she has to process, no, I've been blaming myself for this entire time for my husband's death, when it was actually my nephew. How do I process this? Obviously, you forgive him, but you don't just go, it's fine, because it's not fine.
Oh, is that what happened? Cool.
Oh, man, you fine. Don't even worry about it.
Don't worry about it,
You
Peter.
good. You gravy. You Gucci. What is he talking about? How did he take that from that?
Wow, you're a piece of shit. Bye. And then she just leaves. She leaves him there. Even when Peter comes back and he tries to talk about it again, to get some closure, she's basically like, well, you fucked up, but whatever. This is not...
No, why do you know that's not to get closure? He got closure. And she goes, don't even worry about it.
Don't even worry about it. We're
That's
not even talking
what the
about
point
this right
was.
now.
Don't even worry about it anymore.
This isn't even worth talking about. It's cool. It's water over the bridge, under whatever. It's all good.
And you know what? Her losing the house and all that crap, that was her punishing herself trying to save the house because she felt responsible for his death. The second she learned it, she was like, they gave me a few weeks, but whatever, I got a small apartment. She can let go. He allowed her to let go now.
Oh my goodness.
And she goes, whatever. Don't even worry about it. Hey, about the last time I was here. Not even worth talking about. It's done. We're good. What is this dude? How dare? How did
he see these scenes and take this from that? I do not understand this.
Aunt May, and it makes me really mad. But even though Aunt May has the worst scene, and she's one of the worst characters in the movie, she still isn't the #1 worst character.
Mary Jane.
No. That award goes to Mary Jane Watson, the most petty and manipulative person in the entire series. She spends the whole movie fucking with Peter's emotions. At the end of the first movie, he's like, hey, listen, I'm sorry, we can't be together. I gotta do my own thing. It's sad, but hey, he's being straight with her. And in their first scene in this movie, she tries to make the moves on him, and he's like, hey, whoa, hold up. Yeah, no, I'm still trying to be friends here. I don't want to date you. And she's like, oh yeah? Well, fucking kiss me, you pussy. Look how cute I am. I baked you a fucking cake.
What? That's not what happened.
That's not what happened at all.
And
dude.
she's not trying to make the moves on him. She's trying to see how he feels about her.
And you know what happened? Eventually, he's just like, well, I'm not Spider-Man anymore. Can't we continue where we left off? She's like, where did we leave off? We didn't pick up. There's nothing to leave off. We didn't start.
I like seeing you tonight, Peter. Oh boy, yeah. Oh boy, yeah, what? Nothing. Do you want to say something? I was wondering if you're still in the village. You're such a mystery. Peter, what? Happy birthday. I'm seeing somebody now. You mean like a boyfriend, like I like him? What? Nothing. That's good, companionship. Way more than that.
That's
more?
good, companionship.
I don't know. I'm coming to see your play tomorrow. Blah, 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 blah. Don't disappoint me. I won't. What in that is her?
Probably the boyfriend thing. But she was already seeing that dude. And it had to have been going on for a while if she agrees to marry him.
And you see, he shows no clips there. He just says this, and you're just meant to believe him.
Like, okay, oh boy, yeah.
Oh boy, yeah.
And she's like, admit you love me. Admit you love me, Peter. And he's
That's
like,
not what happens!
That's not what happens. That's not what happens to the end of the movie after he says, I do care about you. You know, I can be that. I can be the person in the seat now.
After he's showing active change. Here, she's just testing the waters like, hey, what are we? How do you feel about me? She didn't say any of this, and he can't show that she said this, because she didn't. Having a great time.
Love me. Admit you love me, Peter. And he's like, no, I don't want to. So she takes it easy. You know, she backs off a little bit. She doesn't freak out or anything, except she does this shit. And then a second later, she
touches
turns around,
his
she's like,
face?
oh, well, you know what? I have a boyfriend anyway, so fuck you. And she seriously says it just to fuck with him. But then you learn that she's only fucking this other guy.
That's your perception of that she's just in with him. It could just be like, look, I'm trying to make you jealous so that you can make a move. It could just be, I'm actually moving on now that I know this. I've been holding off telling you this.
Especially
but now
since when he comes back and is a changed person, he wants to get it up, and she's like, no.
That's her moving on. That's her telling him, look, even if you do have feelings for me, move on because I've moved on. That's just your perception.
That she's only fucking this other guy because she's mad at Peter Parker. She agrees to marry him right after she yells at Peter Parker.
That's not right after. That's several scenes later.
And potentially several days later. Especially since it turns day. Like, I don't remember what happened exactly.
He goes to the Daily Bugle, and they go, we need a photographer.
Yep, I remember that part.
That definitely happens.
But I don't remember if there's something in between. You know what? It is. Because the birthday scene is near the beginning, and this is like halfway through the movie.
Yep.
So this might have even been after Aunt May, the packing up Aunt May scene. This should have been several days later. I know we just watched these movies, y'all. It'd be like that sometimes.
You know, proper scene placement. What are we going to do?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
Sorry, we're not critiquing as well as him.
Big party for an American hero, my son, astronaut. And then that's all the way down here is where he says that. So that's a good bit later. Where was astronaut? Astro.
You misspelled that.
I spelled it right the first time. Yeah, so it's down here. Okay. And the party scene was way in the beginning.
Okay.
This is grind.
So it's probably several days later. Is Peter wearing his glasses in the scene? I can't remember.
I don't think he is.
Because if he is, that's definitely post. No, because that's when he goes to see the doctor after he loses his power. Mm-hmm. I remember that one.
To marry him right after she yells at Peter Parker.
No, it's not right after. It's several days after. And she goes, I do love him very much. And the person she's talking to, her friend, just goes, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for all it is. Not, oh yes, very much so I love him. And then she
Victorian play.
And then she realizes, I don't love him like that.
It's just because she's mad at him.
No, it's not.
Punch me, I bleed.
So then in the weirdest scene... Alright.
He sucks.
He is terrible.
He sucks.
And in the weirdest scene of the movie, she has this fucking experiment with her fiancé where she makes him kiss her like Spider-Man kissed her in the first movie. What if your girlfriend went up to you and was like, hey, can you kiss me like this one guy used to kiss me? This one guy that I just...
That's not what she says. She's just trying it out to see if she feels how she felt back then. If she don't feel about this dude that she's trying to marry, the dude that she's seen twice, this ain't it then. And then right after it happens, there's this look on her face. It's just like, dang, that did nothing.
On top of that, she said she deep down she thought she always knew that Peter was Spidey. So it could be seen that she was trying to see if she felt the same way about him that she felt about Spidey in that instant, which was in turn the way she currently feels about Peter.
in an alleyway one time. I just want to, see what it feels like. What the fuck? No! But that's not the only frustrating plot device. Dr. Octopus is also a big dumbass. Firstly, he has this extremely dangerous demonstration in his fucking apartment with no protective gear given to anybody in the room other than goggles for himself. And then when he turns evil, his entire supervillain plot is, well, I gotta finish my science experiment. Might as well.
No, it is said several times that this is his life's work. He's trying to create renewable, clean energy for the entire planet. He's seeing it as, yes, I am doing bad things, but I'm doing it for a good reason. These people will thank me for this. Deep down, he's doing all this for a good reason. It's not like I want my name in the history books. No, this is my life's work. This will work. This should have worked last time.
And it's on top of that, it's because of the tentacles that he's even thinking that. Because he's like, Peter was right. Like, he was right. I miscalculated. And then they talk to him and go, I couldn't have miscalculated.
No, he goes, these arms should be in the bottom of the river. Me too.
I get that you're supposed to be crazy now because of the AI of the metal arms, fucking with his mind. But why the fuck do they want to finish the fusion reactor? What do they care about sustainable energy?
Because it could be seen as an extension of himself. It could be seen as these things were created for a specific purpose, and it was for that fusion reactor thing. It could just be because it's not even anything talking to him. It could just be things in his own head.
Yeah, it could be that he's just going crazy after his wife's death that he caused, and he's just using this as an excuse.
For I don't get it. He's one of the best characters in the Spider-Man universe with really complex goals and motivations. But here he's just a fucking goofball.
He's just a goofball.
I will say though that one of the best scenes in the movie is definitely the fucking horror scene.
Complex goals, and here he's just a goofball, not explaining his motivation whatsoever.
He did. He wants to finish his science experiment. That's it.
Not the fact that he's also troubled by his wife's death. None of this. Just science experiment.
Dude, the third movie.
9 minutes to go.
This is so reminiscent of Evil Dead that it makes me kind of giddy. Like, look at this. Tell me this is not from Evil Dead. For real. And to top it off, this scene is full of the other staple of this trilogy, screaming women. I mentioned it briefly before, but Sam Raimi loves screaming women.
He's a horror dude, scream queens.
Even when the movie isn't being campy and it's not being serious, it's just being really awkward. Tobey Maguire can't have a normal scene with somebody.
We sure showed him.
What do you mean, we?
Oh.
So anyway, Peter Parker beats...
What? Tobey Maguire can't have a normal scene with anybody. He shows one single scene of Aunt May being sassy, like, I did all the work. That could be taken either way. Of I did all the work, you ain't do nothing. I'm the hero, or her going, I didn't do anything. It was all you. But I take it to be I did all the work. He's just like, oh. But how is that awkward? That wasn't a conversation. That was a sentence back and forth. When he does show examples, it's the worst. It's like he just scrubbed through the movie and just picked the first thing that he landed on.
That could support his argument.
That has Tobey Maguire in it. He goes, all right, I got this. I'm beholden by the rules of the first thing that I land on. I can't believe this dude is this bad.
Happy to be here.
Oh, I'm smiling. This is all I've ever wanted.
Peter Parker beats up Dr. Octopus, he tells Mary Jane he's Spider-Man, and then she leaves her fiancé on their wedding day and decides to be with Peter Parker. Which is fucked up, but whatever. Oh, she also says that she doesn't mind that
he just says whatever so much. Explain why it's bad or don't bring it up. Don't just whatever things. This is to show that it's worse than we remember. You can't go whatever. That's
Whatever.
stuff. I didn't love that dude. Best up, but whatever.
Spider-Man.
Better ways to do it, absolutely. But don't go whatever. Offer ways that it could be improved, or shut up.
Do whatever it takes to be with him, and that she'll be there for him no matter what. Except in the next movie where she leaves him because he's Spider-Man. Anyway, this
She doesn't. Harry Osborn goes, "Hey, you're gonna do this for me,"
If you want to keep Peter safe, you doing this.
and she does it.
That's not what happens, Cosmo.
movie's dumb as hell. 7 out of 10. I love it. Okay, so everybody knows that this movie is bad. And I'm not about to talk shit about Spider-Man 2 and go ahead and say this one's good. And I
You
almost wasn't
didn't
even-
talk about Spider-Man 2. You just said a bunch of bullshit. Aunt May abuses people? Come on, nags Peter every scene?
What a way to stop on the
Oh
scene.
my god.
to talk about it because everybody already knows the funny things in it, but I can't help it. This movie's hilarious. However, while the movie
really
is
not.
bad, it's actually pretty consistent in its tone. This still feels like a Spider-Man sequel, even if it is a really stupid one.
How's the pie?
So good.
So this movie goes ahead and
Pause.
starts.
What was wrong with that, Cosmo? What are we supposed to take from
Nothing,
that?
it's just
was
the
that
meme.
a bad
No,
line reading?
just the meme.
Was it a stupid line?
No, just the meme. You guys are here for the meme, right? All right, here's your meme. Memes.
Is that enough?
188,000 people think so.
Off with another.
It's me, Peter Parker.
God damn it. You think after 2 movies he'd probably get good at this, but no, he doesn't. Now, if you ask me,
I'll say this very quickly. Tobey Maguire sucks at voice acting. He's a pretty good actor, maybe even very good actor. He sucks at voice acting. If you play the Spider-Man 2 video game, it is one of the worst voice performances I have ever heard in my entire life.
But then this is where he should go. This is how I would read that line. And show like, oh, this is where a pause should be. This is where an intonation, his voice should go up here. Because he's excited to talk about the fact that he's Spider-Man. That's me. That's Spider-Man. Why would he not do that other than just going, no, this bad?
He narrate again. Ding.
the best part about this movie is the fact that the wackiness starts at the very beginning. It's not a gradual build-up like it is in the last 2 movies. This movie starts off as a shit show. At the 10-minute mark, we already see 2 antagonists. Harry starts juicing with the Goblin serum.
Is it wacky or is it the fact that we see 2 antagonists? Because you say it starts off with the wackiness. What's the wackiness? The fact that we get 2 antagonists out the gate? Is that it?
And a fucking meteorite lands in Central Park with the symbiote. This movie's trying to juggle all of this shit at once, and it really doesn't work. Also, the symbiote coming from outer space is fucking stupid. I know that's how it is in the comics, but there's a lot more context in the original story. With everything that we know...
Context? You're talking about context? Cosmonaut Variety Hour? You do not get to use that word.
It is forbidden.
Great pep talk. 3 words.
Here's another out of context goofy scene.
So happy.
I've always said that it would have made a lot more sense if the symbiote had came with Jameson's son in the last movie.
Would have been so easy.
They could have even just flashed back to it. Mm-hmm. Like the movie could have opened up before even the Spider-Man 2 sequence. It could have just been like, or Spider-Man 3 sequence. It could have just been like 6 months ago, and
or it could have just been in a lab and it's like we've been studying this goo ever since it came on Jameson's ship. There's a lot of little things in this movie that could have been changed and it would have been improved.
About this universe so far, telling me that aliens exist is kind of a stretch. So after all that, Harry...
Based upon what?
This is what we're doing. Aliens exist, and that's the problem.
And this is just a stretch. But for what? For what reason? Why? Why is it a stretch? This is where you go. It's been fairly steeped in realism. We've had a whole lot of nuclear fission talk and things like that. We've seen basically people testing the gliders and stuff. This is pretty realistic, but now we're bringing in aliens. That's how you would do
So
that.
we just have bombs that reduce people
Disintegrate
to
people.
bones, and then
Just the
disintegrate
bones.
the
And then
bones.
the bones just crumble. Yes.
Cool. Cool.
He can't even criticize
Hey.
Spider-Man 3 correct.
What the is tritium? Does it exist?
It's precious. Precious tritium. He says that like 6 times. Precious tritium.
ambushes
Like,
Peter
shut
and
up.
tries to fucking murder him in the street. We are not even 1/6 through the movie at this point. Now, all things considered,
Pause.
I actually...
So, that was number 1 to get Peter out of his element. He's just riding home. Number 2, this is directly following him getting out of the gas. So he's just like, now that I have the abilities, I'm going straight after Peter. What's the issue of him just ambushing Peter Parker when he's not prepared?
It happened too quickly.
Is that it?
Yes, it happened 1/6 into the movie.
What we've seen him looking down with disdain while supporting Mary Jane at the opera thing. We've seen him looking
Opera
down.
thing, so they all rhyme.
We saw him looking down at disdain at Peter Parker. We see that he still holds this grudge. Now he has the ability to enact his revenge, and he's gonna take it the first opportunity. When would he take it? Would he set a building on fire and then attack him there? Like
Goblin did. Which would have been, a little bit cathartic. It would have been a nice little circling back to that.
sure, but just getting him off guard.
But then he would be in full Spider-Man regalia, ready for it.
As opposed to here, he's always got to keep above the street so people can't see him. So that's at least one element that you have. If you knock him down towards the street, his number one goal is going to be like, oh, I got to get up higher instead of I got to get my footing and then figure out what's going on. So you got that advantage over him. You don't know if like he's carrying important things in his pocket, in a death certificate for Uncle Ben that he needs to protect. You don't know what's going on. So you get him while he's just riding home. What's wrong with that?
Now, all things considered, I actually like this fight. It's pretty exciting. We know Peter isn't gonna die because the movie just fucking
It's a
started.
good fight, but once they get in the
main thing at
alley,
risk
it is. Ooh, it looks real rubbery.
Yeah.
here is the wedding ring. It adds an extra threat to the fight, and it's good for making the audience engaged. Now, right after this scene, we're thrown into the Sandman's origin story, because like I said, this movie has no fucking breaks. However, him turning into Sandman is actually one of the best sequences in the whole movie.
Absolutely.
The effects have aged pretty well,
Tremendous.
and with no dialogue and beautiful music, it's an excellent example of wordless storytelling.
I love how somber and, like he said, beautiful the music is, and then the second he starts forming, it goes into like the horror villain thing. It's so good.
It's kind of weird because if you look at this scene on its own, it's kind of beautiful, but then you remember it's in the same movie as this scene, and you
So
get
why
kinda upset.
why does this take away that? Why can't this be a standalone? Wow, this is a great scene. Are you telling me that bad movies can't have good things in them? Are you telling me that good movies can't have bad things in them? Why does what? So you watch this scene and just like, oh man, this ruins the Sandman scene. That Peter's acting like a super confident dork.
Anyway, Harry has amnesia now, which, as everybody knows,
Terrible.
is probably the worst plot device in the history of storytelling.
Not necessarily.
Doesn't explain why.
He seriously hit
he
his
just
head
goes, people agree.
and forgot the entire last 2 movies.
Yes.
That is more than ridiculous. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Absolutely.
Also, James Franco has gone from being a bad actor to being an insane one.
I got here as fast as I could.
I know that face.
Now, unsurprisingly, Mary Jane is still the worst character in this movie.
Spider-Man gets attacked all the time.
This isn't about you. This is about me.
Remember how in the last movie she's like, hey, I love you all.
So she got a bad review. It's really affecting her. She's going, look at this. And he's going, yeah, but me.
But Spider-Man.
And she's going, I can't relate to that. This is all I want to do. And this is really hurting my ability to do so, to feel confident in doing so. But Spider-Man, though. You don't have to listen to Spider-Man. Your Spider-Man stuff, if people don't like you, that does not affect your ability to save people. This affects my ability to get future work, current work.
Imagine you're with a spouse. They are at their job. They had a really, really bad day. They got chewed out. They're telling you about it. And then you're like, yeah, well, me.
Yeah, I went to make an omelet and we only had 2 eggs instead of 3. You're like, so I know your pain. Like, what the
Support your lifestyle. Yeah, well, the first time he has to go out and do Spider-Man stuff, she's like, ugh, I didn't know this Spider-Man shit was gonna be full-time.
Pause.
First time? They've been together for months!
And this is as she's looking for emotional support. As she's going, this is a bad review on my work that I thought was good. And he's going, I gotta go. And she's like, we can't even have this moment in sitting down and talking about issues. No, but bad.
It was gonna be full-time. The next scene is also really funny because we are now randomly introduced to all the new side characters. This random-ass motherfucker.
Gwen Stacy was in the class with Peter before this scene.
That is a falsity. You are lying.
Oh.
That's not what happened.
Cool.
There's no context.
Cool.
Shows up and he's just like,
Oh my god, that's Gwen.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Pause.
This is the main villain.
So a photographer shows up to photograph a disaster to sell to a newspaper. Is it unreasonable for him to be there? Who's to say? But he is here, and it's logical. It's not like he's an ice cream truck. He this is what he does.
Gwen.
I'm sorry, who are you? This is the main villain, by the way, and he just shows up randomly. Now, all things considered, Topher Grace's performance...
Norman Osborn just drives up in the first Spider-Man. Just rocks up. Spider-Man 2, Peter Parker just goes, I'm doing a report on Doc Ock. Oh, I know him. Here he is.
I can get you in.
This dude is doing his job. This dude is near his model girlfriend taking pictures.
Now, here's where you should have said there was a problem. In the first movie, they go, Eddie's over in blah, blah, blah. And then they go, hey, here's the new guy, Eddie. Mm-hmm. Like, that's where you should have...
That's an easy thing to do. But it could be said that freelance work and J. Jonah Jameson does not care about names and people, so he just goes, new guy.
Yeah, but Robbie's the guy that said, it's the guy we hired last week.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
That's
I heard that
problem.
line in the first movie. I was like, oh, Eddie! And I was like, oh no. He said Eddie. I said Brock, sorry.
And he just shows up randomly. Now, all things considered, Topher Grace's performance is not actually that bad. I actually really like it.
See, photography, it's not just about, no offense, flagpoles, whatever. It's about lighting.
And it kind of upsets me.
I think that was a bad line reading.
Really?
And
I really
now,
liked it.
Nope. I'm just saying that it is. He says that it's good. I say it's bad.
Yep. No explanation needed.
Yep.
Who's right?
Who's right? Who's wrong? You're just showing one line and going, and what if somebody goes, wow, that is him just go, oh, what if somebody goes, that's bad? Oh, don't explain why acting is bad. Don't just say acting is bad. You can speak all about pauses and tone and inflections. All this stuff goes into acting. And you just say acting good, acting bad.
And it kind of upsets me that people blame him for why this movie sucks. He's actually perfectly playing the jerky, hot-headed foil to Peter Parker. He's just one of the better parts of the movie when he's not being Venom. Because when he gets the symbiote, he kind of sucks. Once he turns into Venom, he's just...
I like being bad. It makes me happy.
Fucking ridiculous. Honestly, if this movie was just about one villain, one fucking dude, it could have been fine. Harry's motivations are clearly defined all the way from the first movie, and he would have made a great villain on his own. Sandman has a very compelling story, and the way he ties back to Peter could be interesting if written well. Eddie Brock serves as a great foil to Peter, his narrative opposite. He represents something that we haven't seen in these movies yet. A person like Peter Parker, except motivated by his own selfishness instead of selflessness. Any one of these dudes would have been fine. Making a Spider-Man movie should be so fucking easy, but most of them suck.
Critiquing a Spider-Man movie should be so easy, but you can't do that.
But most of y'all suck. Most of this sucks.
How are you talking about making an entire movie should be easy when you can't even talk about the movies?
So mad. So anyway, Mary Jane gets kicked out of her play because she can't sing for shit, and she sees Peter swing by, and she actually gets mad at him. Yeah, forget being supportive of the Spider-Man lifestyle.
Why is she mad at him? Because people are praising him, and she wants that praise. She wants to be seen for the good work that she is currently doing, and she is being nothing but a pawn.
Also, she can't really talk to her boyfriend right now because he's all into his Spider-Man. Because the last time she tried, so she just got fired. She looks up and sees her boyfriend and goes, I can't even talk to him about this right now. I don't know when I can talk to him about it. Because whenever we try to talk, Spider-Man is there.
And also, she walks out of that her being fired. There's a bunch of people cheering. She smiles all bashfully, and then see they're clapping at Spider-Man. So that's another thing just taken from her. Another small thing.
Yes, Spider-Man is taking Peter Parker away from her.
Now you're actually actively jealous of your own boyfriend. And then
Yes!
she even has the audacity to get mad when he kisses a random girl that he doesn't know.
Pause.
Right.
What did she say? That was our kiss. That means so much to her. So much so that she tried to recreate it in the last movie. Did you forget? And Peter sees it as nothing but, yeah, party time, everybody loves Spider-Man type of thing. Where this is something special and personal to her. This could be the first time where she realized that she loves Peter.
And then on top of that, you know, she even got over the kiss and just like, it's just some random girl, whatever. And then Gwen Stacy rocks up like, hey, Peter, while they're out on their date. Like, hey, thanks for all the help and blah, blah, blah. So now it's not even just some random girl. And she even goes, was Spider-Man kissing her or Peter Parker?
She goes, you didn't mention Gwen to me. This dude.
Right in
Not
front of her.
taking the context of future stuff when he did before. But now, this is just a singular scene in a bubble.
That he doesn't know. Right in front of her. Peter, why did you do that? This movie's just basically Mary Jane and Peter Parker being pissy at each other.
Why did Peter do that? He was high on his own farts. He was feeling himself too much. People started to really like Spider-Man. He go when Mary Jane gets a bad review, people he goes, yeah, I know how it feels. People walking around, little kids on their chest, Spider-Man on their chest. It's a big Halloween costume.
And then on top of that, you look at something like the scene with Sandman when he first fights Sandman. And it's just like, you can't stop me. It's like, oh, you must not have heard.
I'm the sheriff around
in this
here.
town.
He's feeling himself too much. So he's just like, yeah, people start cheering like, yeah, kissed her. He's like, yeah, do it. It doesn't really matter. Not thinking about how she's feeling. He's going, oh, good things are finally happening for me. And he's basking in that.
Mary Jane and Peter Parker being pissy at each other again. Because we haven't seen enough of that. Because we have the same...
Pause. When was Peter pissy at Mary Jane?
When were they pissy at each other? Because you didn't show it in the other movies. I could think of one scene where they were pissy with each other. And that's when the whole cut and punch me, I bleed thing. That whole exchange. Mm-hmm. What's the other pissy stuff, sir? That we've seen so much of.
That we're so tired of, or we should be tired by this moment.
Seen enough of that? Because we have the same general storyline in every single one of these movies. So now Spider-Man decides to be evil, and he wears his hair different, and he says bad words.
You'll get your...
He didn't decide to be evil. He said that it feels good when he has the suit on.
And it's a gradual descent.
Powerful, confident. It's not a decision of just like, all right, I guess evil town now. And what is he doing that is evil? He gets revenge a little bit too harshly on the dude that he perceives that killed his uncle.
Not even too harshly. He thought he killed him.
No, he got too much. He got too. I say perceived that he got too aggressive.
Okay.
Like when he was putting his head against the train.
Boy,
he didn't know he would survive that. But yeah, stuff like that. What else did he do that was evil? He was a piece of. He was a dick.
And then May had a great exchange where he's like, Spider-Man killed him. Spider-Man, he wouldn't kill him. What happened?
Wouldn't you be happy? It's like, no, Ben wouldn't want that. And even still, after this line of you'll get your rent when you fix this door. The next day, he takes off the suit and goes, "Hey, sorry about that. I was going through a whole lot of stuff." Did you forget the very next scene? Potentially, I don't know if it was the very next scene.
It wasn't the very next scene, but it was close.
Within like 10 minutes, he apologizes.
When you fix this door.
And everybody likes this part of the movie. This is everyone's favorite part of the movie. Everybody universally agrees that this is where the movie really shines.
I love that Betty Brant saying sorry. I love it.
Now, this movie has a flow, much like the others do. However, the flow in this movie is fucking insane. They just have each villain getting kicked out of the story to make room for another villain. Harry's the bad guy at the beginning of the movie until he gets amnesia. Then Sandman comes in and he's the villain until Peter murders him. Then Harry decides not to have amnesia anymore and he's the villain again. Then Peter Parker kills Harry Osborn with a bomb, and then Venom is the main villain after that. This movie...
No, he's not.
No, he's not. At best, you could say Venom's an ancillary villain because he meets up with Sandman like almost as soon as he becomes Venom.
And then Spider-Man goes over to Harry's like, I can't beat both of them.
Well, too bad.
Is bananas. All while this is happening, we have bad acting.
It's over. No. Please.
And just
oh my goodness.
What was bad about that?
What was bad about that? All while this is going on, we got bad acting. No, please. He's crushed after Mary Jane just calls up like, yo, let's meet up. He got the ring in his pocket, wondering when he will ever propose. He brought flowers. He's seen that she's been down in the dumps. Had a big talk with his grandma, his aunt. This is shell shock. He's taken off guard completely. And for some reason, I can just say this is bad acting. I think this is good acting. We're both right, we're both wrong. Shut the up.
And just absolutely hilarious scenes.
Now dig on this.
Now dig on this.
The last act of this movie rushes along faster than you can say.
Oh boy, yeah.
Eddie Brock gets the symbiote, and immediately afterwards, him and Sandman just find each other wandering the streets. Then they...
Sandman was looking for Spider-Man, and Spider-Man did have the black suit, so...
And Venom was also looking for Sandman.
Wandering the streets.
Who knows how long they were looking for each other?
Steal...
Did we need to see 3 scenes of Venom just swinging around and then it just cuts?
Where are you, Marco?
On the 4th scene, this is it. Did we need that? Or do we just shorthand go, they found each other?
Then they steal a taxi, kidnap Mary Jane, and build a death trap for Spider-Man. This all happens in the span of like a couple minutes. This movie is so sluggishly paced until the point where all this shit has to be shoved in.
What do you mean sluggishly paced? You said the flow was all over the place, how they bounce from villain to villain. What do you mean sluggishly paced? Why did you show Aunt May? What are the purposes of the Aunt May scene? To give Peter motivation to either go, you are going in the right direction, or no, you are going in the wrong direction, and I'm trying to steer you into the correct direction. Don't just show her and go sluggish.
Cosmo is very not good.
He's probably the worst.
I cannot believe how nothing this video is. We're almost done. We got a minute left.
And his entire basic argument is goofy. Wait a second. Let me read the description of this.
There's no need for all of that, sir.
For real.
Thumbnail by this person. Patreon, buy a shirt, Twitter. How's this Patreon doing? I don't want to see this.
It do. You know it's in the
I'm gonna get
8K.
Dude, I'm gonna get so pissed.
11K.
I'm gonna get so pissed when
15K.
I scroll down and see this big number. Log in. You log in. Jesus Christ. 1,000 Patreons not showing what his actual...
I wonder what the purpose of that is.
Probably just so people can go, look how much money he's making. He doesn't need my money.
Yeah, but he's got 1,000 people.
But that could be 1,000 people paying $1. That's what he thinks.
That's $12,000 a year just for doing this. And that's not even talking about the YouTube ad revenue he gets, any sponsorships, the streams he does where he gets money.
That is all correct. Yeah, there's no way to...
Whoa, go down, go, stop, up. Oh, Space Jam 2. I thought that said Spider-Man 2 full commentary.
There's like Patreon graphs that'll guesstimate how much he's making. Whatever, you're right. We don't need to do this. Let's just say it's definitely over 1,000. It's probably around 5,000. I would say.
I'd say higher.
That is too much for people to open up their wallets for this level of content.
Immediately. Oh, and then Peter goes to Harry to recruit him to fight the bad guys, but Harry is now the Phantom of the Opera and he's sad and he hides in his castle. But then the butler comes out and says
that butler is the worst thing in any of these movies.
Yes.
Just out of the shadows, just like, yeah, I'm also here in the lair, by the way. I cleaned his wound that was made by his own blade. I never told you. There's who's to say that Spider-Man didn't grab his blade, his glider, and stab him? Who knows? But he was just stabbed by his own glider. That's all I know. Goodbye.
Man didn't kill his dad, and that Spider-Man is innocent.
I loved your father as I have loved you, Harry.
I'm sorry, who are you? So the climax of this movie...
He was in all 3 movies.
Yep, and he's shown several times in this movie. When Harry's like, hey, I'm having a friend over. Make dinner. A friend? Or a friend? Just go.
Revolves around Peter saving Mary Jane. Does that sound familiar? Because it's been the climax in every single one of these movies. You see what I mean when I say these movies are all the same?
They're all okay. So
okay, why are he's saving Mary Jane in all 3? Is it because the villain found out who he was and kidnapped the person that he loves?
That is exactly what happens.
Cool.
We can't
have... Oh no, not even the second movie. It was just like get Peter Parker for Spider-Man. And then he only kept Mary Jane because he couldn't release her because she'd bring the cops.
And it's not like we can have old lady Aunt May doing these stunts. So who else does Peter care about? Doc Connors?
Don't even care. It's so funny.
I hated that
4 out of 10. Really bad, but I like it anyway.
I don't feel so good.
If you ask me, all 3 of these movies honestly do make a pretty decent trilogy. People say Spider-Man 3 is the worst one, but if you watch all of them back to back, it really doesn't feel that much different from the other 2.
It absolutely does.
The drop off is large.
It is substantial. It is felt. It is experienced.
Bro, I went from 1, I was like, wow, 1 is really good.
Wow, 1 is banging.
Then I went to 2, I went, oh, this is as advertised greatness.
And 3, I was just like, got sad, mopey, and Sandman. Venom don't show up until the end, and you got amnesiac Osborn. You got Norman Osborn farting all over that first movie. He's a blast.
And Doc Ock tremendous.
From the other two. So yeah, my opinion hasn't really changed. I prefer the new movies, but at the same time I can still enjoy these movies for what they are. Because even when they're bad, they aren't as bad as The Amazing Spider-Man 2, even though I've never seen it. And I'm never going to see it. You guys are never going to get me to watch that movie. Because it's not going to happen. In a million years. Maybe some other time. Bye, guys.
Hall of Fame.
It's unfortunate, yes.
This is...
I realize I haven't given out 10s or Hall of Fames in quite a while. This is absolutely... This is the most disingenuous thing I've ever seen. He spent 26 minutes doing synopsis and barely explaining his points. He just presented the point itself without going, okay, here's me explaining it. Here's a clip to show what I'm saying out of a 2.5 hour movie.
It's everything that I hate. Every single thing. Just, I'm presenting a point with zero backing. I am presenting a point with insanely poor backing. I am presenting a point with disingenuous backing. Do not do this. Who believes this video to be of quality? Who's going, dang, I guess it is not as good as I remember. Dang, Cosmo changed my mind. How do you get your mind changed with this level? With him just going, the first movie for some 13 minutes is goofy. That's not anything. And the fact that he thinks it is, the fact that these people that thumbed it up or liked the video or went on forums and going, no, Spider-Man, Sam Raimi sucks, here's why, which I know people
Reddits.
do. People always do. Those people, including Cosmo, and that's a big, big problem. And I can't stand crap like that. This video was a chore. Give me whatever argument you can, so long as you got backing behind it. Our money is worth something because it has gold behind it. If it didn't, it'd just be a piece of paper. This is paper. This is him taking a loose leaf paper, cutting it up into crude rectangles, and drawing 1 billion on it, and trying to buy a Lamborghini with it.
I need my change back ASAP, sir.
This is terrible. Man. What?
It is almost unbelievable.
Almost. This in a different world, in a universe over, pop this into that universe, and it's like, this is a troll video. And everybody's believing you. Because this is not, he's not saying anything. He's actively lying. He's actively using selective editing to prove his point. That whole, you're gonna kiss me with Mary Jane and tell me you love me, did not happen. And he couldn't provide any sort of evidence to say so. But he had to say it to make Mary Jane seem as manipulative as possible. But he could not prove it in this 3-minute scene. Not a single scene he could provide. Oh my goodness.
Happy to be here.
Oh boy, this is my dream. If it was here or a blowjob, what you think I'm doing here? I'm here all day, every day.
At the same time.
That's what this is. This is my dream. This is all I've ever wanted to do. Thank you guys for voting for this. Looking forward to further content for viewer request month. Oh, we got Totally Not Marked. We got Mother's Basement out the wazoo. JoJo, One Piece, whatever you want. Oh no, just those things, huh? Whatever, that's fine.
Hey, whatever gets voted, we'll watch it. We'll read it. JoJo's.
I can't believe it. Literally, I'm like, oh, let me give a little time to just like read something because they're gonna pick something that we do. JoJo, huh? JoJo, huh? Oh boy.
All right, so this will probably go up tomorrow, the first of the month. And Saturday, I guess we do one of our live streams.
Unbelievable. Disgusting.
Yeah. Actually, we should do it the second week and the last week. Yeah, that sounds about right. All right, so we won't do a live stream. But this isn't gonna get split into 2 parts. Yeah, let's do a live stream.
I mean, it's 2 hours. It could be 2 parts.
It's not 2 hours yet. I don't want to... I used to do it where I would split all videos, but I don't want to split them if they're less than 2 hours now.
I mean, it's a 3-minute difference.
Yeah.
We would have to quit right now when we could filibuster for 2 minutes. Make it 2 videos, Negro.
Okay, so what's the next video we're doing then?
For viewer request month or the live stream?
No live stream. If we're not doing... If we're
you
filibuster.
got the list.
I
don't have the list.
Do I? Oh yeah, I do have the list. 1 second. 1 second. Is it in downloads or is it in documents? Oh, it's in D. Okay. I don't even know where my own stuff is. Text file. Okay. Long spoiler. Viewer request month. Just did Sam Raimi's. We can knock that off. You should maybe skip JoJo's parts. Wait, what are we doing for the 2 live streams? Did we say?
It was One Piece and JoJo's by Animator.
The One Piece rant?
Yes.
Okay. So, we gotta do whole cake on its own?
Legit. And I am a salty little potato about that.
Okay. The better question is, what's the last thing we do for viewer request month?
It should probably be the JoJo part because that's what a lot of people wanted.
Okay, so we should probably do Mother's Basement next. Jujutsu Kaisen is peak shonen anime, which means I have to watch the anime.
Yeah, that probably would be.
So
best.
Split this into 2 videos. Release it today. Release it about Saturday.
Tomorrow.
Or yeah, tomorrow. Release it about Saturday. Do the next JoJo's. Do the next one, which would be Jujutsu Kaisen sometime early next week. Release that about Tuesday, maybe. Yep. And then we can do a live stream on Saturday or Sunday for Whole Cake not Whole Cake, but One Piece Rant or JoJo's. We should probably separate the JoJo's.
Yeah.
So definitely. We'll do the JoJo's by Anime Hater, and then we'll do the Whole Cake Island review. Dude, that's going to be 5 to 8 parts.
I'm not looking forward to that the most.
Understandable. It's totally not Mark. Dude, he's a bum.
He's a big bum.
And he did not like the arc. Which is, woo! Whole Cake Island, y'all, is legitimately a top 3 arc.
It's my favorite arc. I don't know if it's the best arc, but it's definitely my favorite.
So, we'll see.
So, that's the tenuous plan right now. Might change. It always changes. Who knows? There's always a chance of we just like... We could just pick something from that list and be like, we must live streaming it.
Yeah. Like the
your choice and my choice.
The
just
CBD
slide that
one.
in there.
Bruh, whatever that was for the, what was that? The Naruto one we wanted to do, I think it was. From comic book or whatever.
Yeah, CBR. The top 10, like, oh my goodness moments of One Piece. I mean, Naruto or whatever that was. I was looking forward to that. In 3 votes. Yeah, let's flood with Sam Raimi Trilogy. A video that we were actively doing. Happy to be here. Actively going to do. It's Cosmo.
Yeah, but
do what we've done. Somebody that we haven't done.
I think people just wanted it quicker. We weren't getting to it in a time frame that they found adequate.
Particular?
Which one?
Why were people just like, why did they see that and just go, yeah? So somebody had to, somebody nominated it. First off, why'd you nominate it? Of all the Cosmo videos, of all the videos in the internet, why'd you nominate that one? And then a whole bunch of people had to go, yes, this is one of the ones that I want to see. You have to look at it and go, oh, this got 27 votes. Oh, it's lapping others. Still want to vote for it.
And they did. And here we are.
God help us, they did.
God save the queen.
Oh, dude, this is gonna be the best month. It's gonna really.
Yeah, I'm not this character that he's doing. Y'all suck. This sucks. This is gonna
connect us to the fans. It's gonna make us a tighter community. This is everything that we wanted.
Let's do some gaming on the weekend.
No.
Bros competition.
I'm anti-content.
Oh my god.
Don't you remember that?
This guy sucks, y'all. I try so hard, y'all.
Hey, the meme became real life, alright?
No, the real life became a meme.
And then back to vice versa. Back to the start.
I don't know why he's so against it, y'all. Well, he doesn't like talking in front of people. That's the main thing.
Yes, it is.
I don't care.
Yeah, you don't care, and that's a problem. You're not my feelings. You're like Peter Parker and I'm Mary Jane. What about me? And Cosmo hates me.
I am looking at you, and I'm trying to push you towards your dream of performing.
My dream?
Yep. Mary Jane.
Like, wait a second. See, yeah, that's the opposite. Hey, that's it.
Yep.
I got shit to do.
I do too, like eating.
It's terrible. Why this? Why us? Why him? Why him?
You.
This would have been a normal month if it wasn't for me.
Yep.
We'd be partying.
Yep. Probably would have did the CBR thing today.